na oye say obaba be kan sem no ewo media ni mu whilst you say the court is the appropriate forum I was say you're dealing with such issues. People have come to question say most of the anti-corruption crusaders and I can say we need to shine light on corruption. It helps deter people from engaging in sin. How do we marry shining light on corruption and at the same time adhering to procedural fairness?
Well, I mean, good point. And look, this is how I would take it. I can't say, no. And we also know since we are against accountability. No. The can say, your constitutional provisional, say, and I am upon say, Ghana ni bia ye dina sembe court bia no. We dip them, I just a court to no buano for. Na example, na me say, money mu say, you say would be atutu abo abo no yonko a ye nyina ehu enyama police ache no say ni pakro no ye no court a ye nka se ye nyina ehu ye video e ho eni nti no ye no call ya emfa no kotum this one no plead guilty. In fact, even in a murder trial or plead guilty, the court will enter plea of not guilty. Ni ama by lawyer abeginem ni asam ono lawyer so nkopa lawyer kwa ni asam ono lawyer na lawyer no be defending until the court be even sim ni na na court let me pronouncing guilty. So it tells you how the framers of our constitution sought to protect the dignity of the people of Ghana. And no, anyone can say the fact that open so shining light on anti-corruption on corruption doesn't mean say you should also trample on the rights and liberties of other people. The can say nipa na bonena person assembly kosra. So in the case of Wontumi, for instance, so in the case of a public and Wontumi case, you know, you file charges, you we're taking the plea, you know, judge na SCM for your documents, and you got documents called CMC. If you CMC, you be call you be a trial, and now you open a case. I had you drew. In the case of a Dubois, Ubetimi actually say your court and they say Dubois, yeah, case. A Dubois is yet to open his defense. We are, I feel no court under my time. Now, so yeah, sure address. There are processes in court that you can come and update us. But when you come and call a group of people criminal looters, you call them members of criminal syndicate. Now, with investigation, you call it rumble in the jungle. And then in some cases, which because in Nepal, we are the neighbor to in fear say. Already you are polluting the minds of people against these people. Now, my mom said, "The Nepal could not court where you're from for the year." I didn't think that Johnson said, "My didn't court now course where we are Bank of Ghana." Yes, I now court as a head of Bank of Ghana. He was in court. Johnson Samba pandit. He was in court for misappropriating funds. Now Ghana for Nadia. No, you do Bank of Ghana. So any pay. You really know what the case no court now. Why you so know the also Bank of Ghana head. Now, so if you the original court no from for the I didn't know Johnson Samba. You know, man acquire head of Bank of Ghana. So the point is that the first that we didn't court doesn't say Nipani for until the person is proven guilty. You cannot say so a component. Oh, but cannot say many penny na atano. Now, dear who can say as the Attorney General is supposed to also protect the courts. Imagine say case here even if there's 1%, I'm saying even if there's 1% chance of the people winning. Okay, that's what we winning case now. Do you know what you've done to the judiciary? I'm not for because judiciary no matter this can no major because as some Attorney General back at church go for you do for my Zika and so do court no you bring the administration of justice into disrepute. Those are the things you need to be looking at. Because at the end of the day, court assembly now you must say any pay your agreement say any court no so akwadia demudie then where do we go? You the Attorney General, you are the titular head of the bar. Who now you in a bar no di anymore. Bar no are rules, ethics and rules show say as some more court you media so any home come up.
Hello? Honorable Mama Sanfro, as a line, I kakra Mama Sanfro. My answer, yenya honorable back on the line. Very important pa na afe yenini ntumi sa enkomo no. Ehun hia. Honorable John Darko. Na afe yenini ntumi wie on this level. The line mo aye bibi oho. Enti was see yenya no back on the line na afe. Yetumi wie this conversation. There's another leg of the conversation. I was say yenya that response no from honorable.
Yes, sir.
Where the kafra line no more twitwi kakra.
Is it better now?
Yes, it is better. It is better.
Okay, cool.
Enti na we drew baby na wo ka say any statement I would word to abontin we say a court. Now the attorney general is unable to do his case well in court. That's a case near terminating for and on behalf of the accused. Now the court will be subject to ridicule.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. What you say, and that's the point we are making. You bring the administration of justice into this dispute. The attorney general should not be engaging in that. He's better than that. He cannot be engaging in populism like that. You are not just any person. You are the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. In fact, the government's lawyer. He's the people's lawyer. You are the lawyer for the people of Ghana. And it's, also we should say, no matter what political persuasion the person leans, no matter the person's financial background, no matter the person's religious background, you need to protect all these people. That's why you're a fair-minded person. And when you Pandita and free and cancel the case. Now the the Bank of Ghana governor. No one can say we fight corruption.
Honorable, say people say we share the buffer stock the or he made the press conference even before filing charges in the court. In a situation where a case or an issue is not before the court, is the Attorney General has that right to make the commentary that he made on the case even before Beko court.
That is equally wrong. So when the matter is sub judice, that is different. But when it's not sub judice, I didn't think your ultimate aim is to convict the person in court. What's the aim? So that tells you, say, their aim is not to get conviction. Their aim is just to destroy the reputation of the people. Because really, you can give an update to Ghana. Say, what investigation against Abdul Hanan? You've made some discoveries. Now, because the court is the final arbiter, the court is the only institution that it can declare somebody guilty or not. And it's what you do is to tell us that these are the things you have found and that you are taking them to court. You don't come and give all the facts because you know what? The other party won't have the opportunity to come and sit or come to the media and also lay all his defense. Because look, me as a lawyer, and you can ask any lawyer, no lawyer worth his salt who advises his client to go to the media, go to town to discuss the merits or otherwise of his case. No lawyer will advise his client to do that. And so who at you think you have a field day where you can do it because, look, win or lose, what's any reputation of you? It doesn't happen like that. It's wrong. You don't do that. You see, that is why we have standards and ethics. The standards required of the Attorney General, okay, is so high, and this guy is operating way below it. And I'm surprised to, I'm starting to say that he doesn't seem to care about the rights and dignity of the people of Ghana.
Honorable, what about people who say, look, Attorney General Nababe Kaninsem, he has put his reputation before the people of Ghana. Say, or court and also want to me and succeed in convicting those people. The backlash come back to me, his integrity will be questioned. Say,
no.
Public, but you are unable to do your case.
No, already integrity. It is the integrity of the court we are worried about because the people who attack the court. When say court now could this one case Attorney General any case. That's a Ghana about for casa. Oh, the best who judge and a judge, I just kind of judge, a jaw. Sound no better judge in a jaw. Yeah, because Attorney General in the case. You don't care about his integrity.
At what point does Article 19(2)(c), the presumption of innocence, it take effect? Is it when the person is being arrested, or when the case is before court?
From arrest until the decision is made, the person is innocent. Because the arrest process is part of the proceeding. When you have been arrested, he will tell you in a language you understand the reason for the arrest. And you are innocent. So when you go, you see you are being investigated. You are a suspect. You are being investigated until the court has convicted you. Then you become a convict. And the presumption of innocence starts from arrest till the day the judge gives his judgment. Because until the court pronounces you guilty, you are not. And nobody has the authority to pronounce anybody guilty in this country. And I tell you, the Wafa Honor, radio, Sunni TV, so, and worker, how many years a month for best friend in jail? It's never done. And we must all condemn it. And you, the media, the people of Ghana, we made that call. The religious institutions, CSOs, all of us. Because, you see, and then I am your, and then I may, we don't build a nation like that. There's no fairness. Now, if there's fairness, why is Joseph Sema the Bank of Ghana governor? Why is he the governor of Bank of Ghana? I don't care.
From the point free bano, the oil no one way or the other, will you say it violates the rights of the people, the individual concern, and with that fact, those people can go and challenge that singular decision of the Attorney General when they feel say a violation of rights.
Of course, but you see, I mean, I'm a very realist person. We're agent of course fighting a criminal case. Now we pursue some fiscal and some fighting another civil matter. What kind of undue burden are we putting on the people of Ghana? So that's where the problem is. Yes, when you're per uncle court, putting an undue burden on the citizens of Ghana. Say, they better Ghana for, they bought Ghana for home. It's in Ipano. Right now, the person is in court fighting for his life. That's one civil action. So that you shouldn't put the person in that position. And that's why some of us look, apart from nobody in all these cases is a messiah or crowd. But we believe that as a people, we need to defend each other. Look, it is just one individual, and that the whole state, the whole apparatus of state is being brought against that person. All of us must defend that person. Imagine the whole Attorney General's office. Look at the lawyers from it be the 30 years, 40 years, it be the 50 years. Lawyers are cooked up on mining in Africa. Yeah, they are tar. Abanese, yeah, if I need any power, don't you think that person needs protection? And it's in our criminal jurisprudence. When it comes to criminal prosecution, Yamna said you have to prove your case beyond reasonable doubt. So a higher responsibility is given to the state because of the enormity of the power the state carries when it comes to prosecution of its people. It's not for nothing. And then they say the cases must be proven beyond reasonable doubt. Sir, nipa ketua ba queen. Wo ko sa to kwano. Wo si wan san ko file another suit in the Attorney General. Or confess it can what was that one. And so we shouldn't put Ghanaian in that situation at all. And that's what we are trying to tell the Attorney General.
But as I'm a Jama Kono, Mami Misa issues regarding the decision and I said the ruling of the speaker relative to the fact that the LGBT bill died with the 8th Parliament. It was a circle through the process before the 9th Parliament. As a lawyer, passing a bill in Parliament and the law process that guides the passing of bill, is that the right procedure?
I mean, look, in Parliament yesterday we debated it. There's two schools of thought, and I think that we have to have a definite decision. We're expecting the Speaker to rule, but he didn't have a written ruling. But the Speaker says that he feels that everything expired with the last Parliament. In fact, that is the technical meaning, that whatever you do in the last Parliament, when the Parliament expires, everything dies with it. Whether or not in this particular LGBTQI, it was still in Parliament, is another question, because the clerk's office is that they transmitted it to the presidency. So once it leaves Parliament to the presidency, it's at the presidency. And because governance is continuum, it is with the presidency. But one answer here, the next person can sign. All right. So really and truly, the question is whether or not the bill as it is was transmitted to the presidency. If it was transmitted to the presidency before the expiration of this parliament, then this parliament has nothing to do with it. It's already gone to the executive. And the executive also will deal with it. If the assumption is that no, it wasn't transmitted to the executive and that it is still with parliament, and parliament ain't really processes there, then the speaker's argument will be true that because parliament ain't really processes, no, I would say new parliament, no, it taking it up, because then it would have died with the previous parliament. So at least new parliament will have to take it up and then resubmit it, goes through the process before it goes back to the executive. So the question really is whether or not at the expiration of the 8th parliament, the bill was with parliament or was with the executive. If it was with the executive, then the president should sign. If it was with parliament, then by the speaker's ruling, we have to reintroduce it, go through the motion before it goes back to the presidency. It's as simple as that.
But as a lawyer, which school of thought do you hold in this particular one? That the fact that the bill was transmitted to the executive even before the expiration of the 8th parliament, which we know, say, as at that time, you can say you transmitted bill now co-executive. In fact, the process of passing the bill was done in parliament. But one will ask the question as to whether the transmission is also a process in the passing of that bill, because there's one thing passing the bill and there's another thing assenting to the bill. You can the passenger, Obi Beka just say, Ebia, ni say parliament, na ma pass bill no dada. And to say and transmit the process through which a bill needs to be passed in parliament was done. Except say transmission of the bill is also is part of the process of passing the bill. Is that what it is?
Okay, so very good point. I mean, you do very good analysis. You see, the question as to whether the bill was transmitted to the president or not, it's not a question of law, it's a question of fact. So that fact has to be determined. Was the bill transmitted to the presidency or not? Now, the next question you ask, whether transmission of the bill is part of the process of lawmaking or not. I would say no, because look, once the law has been made and passed in parliament, the real parliamentary work is done. It's between the clerk and the executive. So transmitting it from the presidency, from parliament to the executive is really not part of the law process. No. The law process ends when the law is passed in parliament. The rest is left with the class office to do the transmission. Transmission cannot be part of the law process. But in this case, as to whether the bill was transmitted, it's a question of fact and not law. And that has to be determined. On the floor, majority leader was saying that it went to the presidency and it was rejected and it was brought back. And so in their view, it still remains with the parliament. I mean, I don't know whether he was telling the truth or not, whether it was brought back or not. Those are questions of fact that has to be that we have to determine. If we determine that it was transmitted, then it's with the executive. If we determine that it wasn't transmitted and it's still with this parliament, then of course he expired with the parliament when the parliament expired on the 9th of 6th of January 2025.
But let's understand this also. Transmission, it is not time bound, or is it time bound? So yeah, possible maybe I was all transmitted. Time be that so to me must transmission near Juma. And I say you can pass the bill and wait for 2 or 3 months before you can even transmit it to the executive for assentment.
Well, but that's a very good question, which I don't have the answer to. But of course, I've glanced through the Constitution and standing orders. I haven't seen time limit within which a bill must be transmitted to the executive. I haven't. If there's one, I'm yet to see. I don't think I know everything, but from what I've seen so far, I don't think that there's any timeline within which a bill has to be transmitted. Because normally it will be stated if there's timeline that after the bill is passed, Parliament, it should be transmitted to the executive within, let's say, 3 or 10 or 14 working days, something of the sort. But I haven't seen anything like that. I stand to be corrected, though.
Yes, I asked that question because, sir, the 8th Parliament passed that bill. Now, for all intents and purposes, you see, it was a good bill for the president to assent to it na so one asentia na say transmission no enye time bound then it can be transmitted at any point in time regardless of which parliament is sitting.
Whether parliament has expired or not. I think that's a very good submission.
Honorable Amina was in Anope. Honorable John Darkon, a member of parliament at the man this year, a war Swame in the Ashanti region, and I would say, Yeneno, AD, and Komono. Issues regarding the Attorney General and I think so no the LGBT Bela Wone at the court, Nasebe Jeffie. Under Nana Dudanko Akufo-Addo at the 8th Parliament, Drew Baby, I was here, the command no sign. Now, the secretary actual letter at the Akwakoma Parliament said, don't transmit this bill to the presidency again. It became an issue. When he said that issue, the substantive issue as we speak, is even pending in court. Near the idea, we are waiting for the determination of that court. It is the reason, Crunchy, and they say, Honorable Afenyu Maki make some, allegation. I say, boy, this time around on the processes of the judiciary is a court etra case so for some time now in a case near the idea. Then the question will come as at the time we no FIL case a tie ni sadana no. Now there were cases that were pending months. Ana sankrofo no munyanya even a hearing date kra. Satam no na Ghana for can what were you saying us at that time? Now response ni ye. You see, so we should have integrity and standards. And then we can say, watch now, I will live by it. Let's get some principle. Let politicians have certain principles as an individual, as politicians, as leaders of their constituency and parliament. That yesterday it was blue, today I will continue to say blue. Not because table have shifted. Times as society, I didn't say blue, then watching any green. No. The majority now was in minority. You pass a bill, you say for all terms and purposes, that bill, okay. The bill should be assented to by the president at that time. And that is why we really need to dive into this issue and get, even within the parliamentary process, do we say ya pass a bill newie? The very day I speak about say ya pass a bill newie, bibia koture does it leave the law-making process and get to where we say transmission is transmission time-bound? If it is not time-bound, why do you say it has died with the old parliament and it really needs to be laid again for us to go through the process in passing it? I am one person because issues relating to LGBT near the idea and say be a Bruce be near the young Kwasiasem and baby I drew as or mine. That is not what you should be thinking of. And a young Yansu man crofo and ni say be sans and phone Ghana. Yen yama obi ani sans and phone Ghana say ne be a media bi o mi fi o se me transgender me ye cream ye dey queer na me se me aduana me madua wo mi fie no akwa bia ba se aduana no pese o ne ne tra na nti wa ba fa aduana nti se me madua no you say he has authority over aduana me madua no and to be about say lolly kwan say be eburu na me pese be wan nti so obeda lolly kwan no so you say that is the right of that person. The person chooses what to do. Then the moment we go on that tangent, then you will be looking at Obiani right, Kronfonso Benya right. You see. And you know the young Fuasu Kurazo Obia be on that tangent, Obia no Fuaso, Ghana ni be no one in the bedding comma or Fuaso, even with lawyers who are even defending the status quo, they are defending the new, LGBT phonia based on their right, because that is what is enshrined in our constitution. However, we are looking at the fact say adie nankasa na musi ayemra papa na do danko Akufo-Addo wo boy abro na wantumi ansan a ukoye no anka we de akukili a uba ya na pen na kwa san na nka ye de atum na yekoye nim but yen nyina yenim de ekoso ntia yen nyina yesuro sa de ye de ensa beka kura se bia ye san ana bibia o obi a wo parliament enim Ghana obi a wa memmo bu bia onim international law I say what share the international community kakra enim say ye la so la na ye kokko ye nkrofo mu ba be ma ye bie kura se ya mfa sa tibia na mfa nto ye nso ne ya hwe za ye mra ne mu la so la kakra e ko di kwanhwe ko mo ma ye and you know see a pekwan bi so edangela it is the same reason enti anana do dan kwa kufu ado want to answer so be kai ya sam mere na yes I normal we koso and your friend the former vice president United States wo ba kroma nya bibia enti anu anti no ba kroma ekwan odi pressure beto yeso se de be ya sa be ne ntumi but we were able to do that bill because one we got the sentiment of Ghana they shipped the sentiment of Ghanaians to agree say adie we de nya de ye penti ye ma hu kwa maninsi two is the fact say no munim say na de na nya mayen until we be free efidie so aka to say democracy angasa as people of Ghana na enye nu ho na ko see atwan ye develop ye man ni we be develop ye man ni we na we introduce the democracy because you can go to the Arab Emirates ni mu ni ade and you see the kind of practice of here and see how their country are developed. Ghana as your president biso be calling third term share professor and continue man ye giant besu ye pese ye tie mu asise ya we di kakra na okọ na ndisi aba no obedi bi na okọ na MPP ni abo na we ko na na sa ani ye di kun ye man ani ye di say ye man ani ye nyina ye timu ebusua ya asisi na momoko ena enimu